Peace. Let's continue from the Treaties series. Let's get into some of the faces of this nation, this Moorish nation in the several states of North America that we call Black/African American. Erroneously, and as we see today, they spread across the several states, especially the early United States, which we see from the Articles of Confederation and Association set up by different nation states sitting in North America at this time. And these nation states have treaty relations with the rest of the world, which creates the United States. And we're going to see how Noble Ali came and made sure that his people, these Moorish Americans, were constitutionally legalized as citizens, American citizens on this continent. And their habitations at that time and this time, and consists of the several states. Okay, so we can see now in 2020 people scrambling to deal with the immigration in these states, and the so-called federal government having all kind of problems trying to figure out how to legalize these people listed as Black, white, Hispanic, and Native American on census, federal census, right? Which is all based on War Power Acts, 1865, Civil War, 14th Amendment, legalese, apparently de facto act. But we'll see. We'll see how everybody decides to legalize themselves. I can tell you one thing. They will scramble to legalize themselves because of Moorish Americans decide to take their affairs in their own hands like they're supposed to. They'll be in a position to enforce violations of constitutional laws in this United States. And we're going to dig deep into that. All come from my opinions, being that this is political in nature, allegedly legal in nature. At the end of the day, they're talking to a specific group of people. And if that you are in your category doesn't apply, you can go ahead and stop the video now. It's going to be like 40 minutes. It's going to waste your time. But if it is talking about you, let's get into it. Let's investigate. You know, we're dealing with the pain and we're dealing with the sword. And the pain meaning just understanding languages, understanding how manipulations can be done within government using language. The official language of the United States, but in a foreign type Latin, and then earlier type English, a vulgar type Latin, and then American English as we see today, which within that realm we get a lot of um, I call unconstitutional principles being placed upon the people, like making up terms like Moorish sovereign citizen. Under the American English stratum, of course, that could be a thing. But constitutionally, that don't exist. But Moorish American does. You talking about free national governments. You talking about all treaties made with the United States and the honoring of such treaties. So they can play all they want. When it comes to enforcement of law, you got the divine right to enforce it. Get into some maxims. The highest laws. The affairs, custom of Moors of North America. When you're dealing with customs, you're dealing with jurisdiction, and you're dealing with comity. The law of comity in international law, you respect the customs of other nations, people. You see, you understand what the United States is. It's the state united at a point, Moors and Christians. And we can see that today. The so-called 14th Amendment federal citizens, it's the people, they need you in voting time, right? Who they go to? Go to the people of these states. Look like this man. And you see with the sombrero. Go dig into the sombrero. I'll tell you half of the story. And the baptism of Moors. You go from noble to a Negro. Take off your noble garment. Because you can't have titles and nobility, but the way you could operate in the United States as an official, as your family business is private. In the Republic of the United States, you don't have no title or nobility, but your title nobility in your house still stands. That's why you're part of parcel of the said government. Any government on this land, you part of parcel because you got to grant that square any day for any government to operate any commercial business. And they are owned by noble families, regardless if they don't want to call it a monarchical constitution. We know that's the deal. We know we're dealing with families and bloodlines and stuff like that. The granting of roads by these noble families who sign these treaties, they grant to public entities, companies, for people. He's my great grandparents. And I want to show an example. He's allegedly a man of goat who practically owned South Carolina, one of the major families. And these families, after the Civil War, really before the Civil War, started to lose their nationality and who they were, being labeled Negroes and stuff like that within the state. He married to his great-grandfather was listed in census as free white persons. So I don't want to get too personal, but his parents was listed as mulattoes. Grandparents, free white persons. Because they had owned property in the United States. And he married, allegedly, Emily Jackson, who, you can go look up a story in Jackson's. And her parents. We can see on both of their census they listed as Negro. So we already see the fix and even this late in the game. We think we're going far back in our history. We really ain't really going too far back. When we go farther back past these people, we start to not find pictures. And if they're rich enough or important enough, they will find a picture for his grandparents and they will paint it how they want to paint it. Remember that. They got evidence of that going on. You already, he's an American, these Moorish Americans. Who knows what he's talking about? See. Sombrero is called the sombrero cordobes. And as we can see, it was a fashion even in the Americans. Nobody even know where it came from. We just been here. And here it is associated with traditional Spanish, aka Moorish clothing. It is a hat made in Cordoba and worn commonly in Andalusia. You see, not Spain, so they don't even know what they're talking about, traditional Spanish, but in Andalusia. Basically, it is a wide brim hat that covers the face and neck from the sun. This might be by workers, laborers, wore it every day. So, getting into some of their opinions or whatever. But the point of the matter is, this hat, the sombrero, is known as an American or Mexican type. We got Texas, which was Mexico. We can get a little bit into some of the people, Roqueros. Some of these, you can see how everybody had they had an understanding of who they were more than what we got today, based off all the education. Trying to get into a lot of what happened. I get a lot of these questions all the time in inboxes and stuff like that about what happened. Like, I don't see it in my face. I don't see this empire, all these things. It's if you follow a through line, even in your head, you can see how we into this certain position. Or not even really our position, just a lot of stuff happening in between. Even as a bellhop, he looked like he understands. He doesn't know buddy. A good constitution, as they say. Standing. That's why we don't slouch. And that's why we always look our best. Especially in taking a picture. During due time. And a lot of these from the book, Black Pioneers and the first Black Millionaires of Wall Street and books like that. And Pinterest. Pinterest is a good source for pictures. You see that all these people clean. United States lists Moors as a pure and clean nation because the people in the stratum, you can't operate as that. They don't want to operate as that because you're too free and you're too rich under that. So as a whole, can't these people who call themselves billionaires online, there's a lot, but that's a very small fraction compared to who the political arena look at these citizens in the United States as black people and white people and Hispanic people and the people who under those entities, right? So these people, they lose their status and they lose their ways really spiritually by being that shit for so long and getting politically disenfranchised under that. One of the first things nobody already told these people that they're not that. was a political reason and spiritual, historical, legal, lawful, and go on and on. Noble cast of people looked at having intelligence. We had encyclopedias in our homes. Intelligence was noble, You wasn't no Berbers or barbarians, as they might want to try to project to each of these people. Even though you may have some tribes who are wild tribes, dog skin, for a long time. But diving everybody, generalizing people. Some people truly been quote unquote kings and queens, princes and princesses, even in these times going down the so-called Victorian. But ain't y'all speaking English now, and Spanish and French and shit? Education been a loss. But mass education by the United States took hold. No longer the tutor in the neighborhood or in the household would teach the whole family the knowledge they needed to succeed. But it became publicized, and the nobles started sending children here. Over time, forgetting who they were. When you go back and look at the whole system of black and white, the caste system that you're dealing with. Some nations or customs been reversed. You had the black yi against the white yi. All the people look the same, but we have a Chinese for black yi and white yi. The black yi probably been landowners who had most of the higher status than the white yi. But in this caste system, it's reversed, and a whole lot of other caste systems. It's reversed, and we got cases in Scotland and England stuff where you had the same people, but they would have called them the people will attack the township and kidnap people and stuff like that. Call them black. And they were really because of complexity, because black in English been used as bad as a word. Look at definitions in dictionaries. Look at the number 2, 3, 4 definition. They got evil, bad, stuff like that. So, they became the black people in that aspect. No matter how you look. But we create the social construct for political reasons and stuff like that, and it got out of hand now. Just driving me to make these videos. Okay, let's go back to where these people really come from. Could have been here for thousands of years, over 10,000. But that's insane to see in our world today. Christian calendar 2020. For reasons that I just explained. Alright, we got the Iberian, the old languages found in Iberia, Portugal and Spain, match with the Punic. And we got a match with the American language found in the Edina, which is in the northeastern area, I believe, in the Midwest. But look at it all the way to Paraguay, Oklahoma. So we find matches just from America to Barry Fail. Examples of Iberian Punic alphabet from Iberian and American sites. So that's where they're matching up. run through a copy of these. We didn't even need to read it. But like I said, always have a timeline written by you and teach to your kids. They have an understanding in the law. Only see that and respect that. The law do not respect you with an understanding of something given to you by somebody who ain't even officially a member of your community, society, family, nation, tribe. Right? How can somebody else, like they own history and yours too? Who gives them that powers? If you ain't got the powers to get intelligence in certain fields in order to basically deal with the geography and the math and the sciences, law, civics and stuff like that within your own family, then you have the public govern that for you, do all that for you. Europe, Ireland, Portugal, from Vermont, Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and the Caribbean, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Ireland, and the Mohegan Man. We got these matches in linguistics, 800 BC. So you can't go back too far because at some point you gonna got records that go back too far, but we can assume that if they're here at this time, it's been here before this time. Just because we got records at 800 BC doesn't mean that's the beginning. So keep the idea of these matches as evidence to the facts. Apparently the Holy Ground circles heaven because this ancient Canaan name. Figure 1, sun and moon worship. You see the crescent, star crescent, ancient Moor, but we're going to show how the Moor body still helped them figure all this shit out. Got the sun worship, the sun does Ra, showing the ancient Egyptian empire and the scratch. Same thing in circle 70, the dominion. You know, that's why I say that one document should be in your safe as a Moorish American. Because that's what you stand on in law. That's not nobody else's history. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody else on this planet as a man can even tell you nothing about you. Period. You see what they say? They got astrology. You can find in like places like Oklahoma and shit. All allegedly, because I ain't find them. But at the end of the day, rebut them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to have to talk about these someday. Tubal of the Canaanites. See? Learn, people understand this. It's really simple to see when you study these things, but, you know, regardless, you know, what kind of stigma they put on these type of things like Kemet or Hamites and Moabites, all they incest and all this other shit, like, that's irrelevant to the fact that you can use these things in land titles, land claims. When you're dealing with all the other shit that people say about these things, you're dealing with emotional shit. Because we're dealing with a Canaanites, we're dealing with a worldwide group of people who got a connection. If you say something about, well, the Canaanites did that, you talking about millions of people spread across the world, all of them did that? So a black person go to jail today for molesting a child, all black people did that? Or just that one motherfucking black person? That should be to somebody who call these people who call themselves scholars, that should be without saying. Like, man, listen to these boys, man. They be, I don't know, it's philosophical, a lot of these things. That's another thing that I feel that the children should get early. Philosophy, how to think about certain things. It don't make no sense to even get into what people say that these things is. We just know that we can connect it through language if you skill enough. And you find these in the New England area, even if you're dealing with Celts, you're still dealing with the ancient aspect of everything. If that's what vine the fig tree, the people who dealing with the Viking and the Celt thing they did, that's where they vine the fig tree is, let it be. They cannot disclude you from none of it. Especially as a Moorish America, y'all just set in stone. How long this been going? Okay. Got a few more. Let's go quick. Metu Astarte. This come after the circle said this no Jolly gave us everything, his whole study in one chapter. Pointing at him, Eye of Ra. And you see the so-called black community, we got an affinity with the Egypt thing and the Metu Neter and all these things right there, right? That's why, because you remember aspects of things. So now you about to get what it really is. The Egypt you on. They're the Mayans. A Maxim. Calendars. Sun calendars. So you're dealing with people who had high science. Like the leftover science, leftover by people like Ban Bay. And the leftover astrology from these people. The Punic language, Carthaginians. And dealing with all the different aspects in the black community, right? Dealing with the so-called Indian, the so-called Hebrew Israelites, the so-called Egyptians, and everything. Everybody taking a cup out the ocean and talking about that's the ocean. That's why my videos be too long. How much we feel like doing all these long ass videos, and it's freestyling. A couple of pictures I just find on my phone, like for phone and so many years with different historical, like lost shit, man. But all this shit I saying when I've been saying on YouTube by different Moors, people just don't, and they still make these lectures talking about kind of other shit. All this shit exists. Ain't nobody want to talk about. Just call it a hoax. That's easier. Because they deal with you. The people who everybody run to when it come voting time. The niggas. N-I-G-G-A-Z. That's what they want to use the term in modern American English. Negro English. Whatever. We dealing with law. And Syria and Lebanon, Phoenicia, Punic settlers of Iowa, and Spain. Same people on both sides. We're just dealing with the vaqueros, and we're going to deal with a couple of accounts from around the internet, I want to know what everybody got to say about me. What names they calling me today. What kind of connection of slavery they want to connect me to. Like nobody else in the world suffered any slavery. Connect to the Mound Buddhists in this one. explained very well. The Andalusian dialects. Like pretty much he knew exactly that people who everybody called them Moors of Spain. You know what I mean? Who advanced the world in mathematics and astronomy and all that good shit. Inventions. We already this Barry Vale know that these African Americans is the remnants of them people on the side who've been on both sides at the same time periods. Advancing shit. That's why you got the so-called African American period, black period. We got all the inventions on the side too. Same people. That's why. That's why I know obviously Moorish Americans. Yeah, I know that. This 1970s right here, people doing research into the ancient America. You're already going over a couple of these inscriptions. These just inscriptions. These, you're supposed to be putting these things in your trust, saying who you is, expressing your citizenship, which would be first class, off the top. We're going to deal with how the United States of America, how you dealt with that first class citizenship that you should have. I don't know what y'all just said, like basically what it was. Okay. I keep saying his name because I ain't telling you nothing new. They going on a roundabout way saying the same thing. In my opinion. And I said Egypto-Libyan. And all these is ambiguous terms, really. This Malcolm D. Pearson. This idea of what these places is. And they assume modern day because they actually went to Libya and places like that to study these languages and stuff to find out how to translate these things. And they use Arabic, modern day Arabic to translate it. Just add vowels. These consonants. Just add vowels in certain places. You might have to mix the vowels up. Say A, O, and add say I, E, see what they say. If you start to make words, you start to translate them. See right here. Add the A and the A. Payak, early awake. You see the R, S, and then you read from left to right, like left. They got on some of these, they read from right to left, like the Arabic. They use it or Latin. Well, just these letters gonna end up being these letters in the timeline. If you're dealing with linguistics, true linguistics people, linguists will tell you that these ancient Canaanite letters became the alphabet, or so-called Latin letters that we used to be in English. So we ain't really far away from ourselves. You see that right? They say Cimarron Cliff. Cameroon, and well, the Christian power used to call up some of the Moors who they used to go to war against. The Maroons, Cameroons. Cameroon, they name after the name of color that too. Just to, you know. And then showing the elephant on this one. Carthage. See, I have it written ABYGB. These coincide with alphabet because they become alphabet later in life. The historical timeline. Dealing with King Manasseh Monument at Daga, Tunisia. Sanskrit got a big part of it too. Go look up Daga, the real thugs, fight against the East Indian Company. It's been found in Ecuador. You right about the Shoshone and the Chinook, and all those tribes. This is their prehistory. is your prehistory. He took you back to the time where we can prove something. He couldn't take you back before that time because ain't nothing to prove it with. So he took you back to what can be proven, and he used the biblical aspect because that's how you're going to bind him with that. The biblical aspect is historical aspect in the laws of the United States. Embedded. So according to that, you in the human family, and a whole lot of names is tied into that. Cameron Cliff. Oh, they should have let me in shit. And they call them colonists. But that's just from their point of view. It could just be that these the same people who hate now and been in through all these times. Like Circle 7 telling them. And that's just evidence of that. But they've been on both sides. They've been travelers. You. And Beyond we had different gods, we had all kinds of different customs and stuff that you forget. Start getting reintroduce your custom through war tactics and propaganda. New Year's calendar. A lot of them doing the work, but up to you to really get into it because it's your history. We always claiming it. People don't much want to talk about this. You got a few people who is claiming it and talking about it off the top because they recognize what it is. Osiris, we got the Osiris Monument in Washington, D.C. So somebody knows that. Calendar. That's what you call head consanguinity. The time between a bunch of wars and a bunch of disasters and a bunch of generations. Name changes and stuff like that. It all can't be simplified in English. Chapter 47 simplifies the best you gotta ever do. One chapter. If you think about it, when you've been in school, the American history they leave out a whole lot of this stuff like this. And they give you so-called, what they call Indian history. until they get to the colonies, and then they're dealing with British in history. They skip a lot of things. They get to George Washington, and they deal from everything from right there. Civil War, then everything dealing with so-called black and white relations and war, race relations, race war status, and um, you can't. I mean, we can go to little powwows or whatever and deal with the people who we perceive as Indians because they still in that so-called custom, but I ain't never seen none of them. Ain't none in the middle. I never walked past none of these people in these hoods and these streets across these fields where all the people at. All these people at. That's the people of the United States, for real, and they got a history too. But when you ever get it from anybody? You know, outside of the one that we all get in public school. Look at Asuka, Shamal. I think Shamal is the east, north, the great Northland. And we got Al-Aska. We got Maghreb Al-Aska, the great west. So probably had a different name based on which Moorish maps you find. Palm trees, the land of palms, Foniki, I'll call that. Find a million things, man. This one of the things we talk about in this book from this group of people. But you can't cover up a whole world. Just like we dealing with this reality of niggas and the Carolinas and the South. We got niggas in the Northeast in New York and got them in Carolina. Even the United States, everywhere in the world look at that group and across the civil state as a group of people, a specific group of people, right? It's crazy because if I say Moorish, everybody get confused. Like these Moorish Americans, or if I say the word Moorish, they get confused. But if I say the word niggas, N-I-G-G-A-Z, they'll be able to separate these Moors from across these several states with other Moors across the planet. They're specifically gonna put you something in their body in their head who look like me. Or ones who listen to this video right now, ramble. You know, that's the reality today. But they want to act like they don't know these people got a history and another name than this goddamn niggas. You know that these people name. That's a modern name that practically we call ourselves. And at the end of the day, that word should be the name for the color black. If we're dealing with linguistics, we can know some secret magic going on with that color. The name being black for the color of that we call that word in English. That color should have a word that starts with an N. It's like the Spanish, the word negro, and noir, and French, and every other language, Niger, and Latin. But English, playing games, and they take the word that like blancos in Spanish, which means white. And I forget the other languages one, but everybody had that BL word for the color white, but English switch it, and they use the BL word for that color, particularly the color of your hair. And they use a whole different word for the other color, but technically the word Negro, niggas, all them words just means black. In history, we see that with map making, Christian powers would take a map, and every time they find a Mauritania or Morocco or anything that's dealing with Mar or Moro, any land on the map that they'll switch it to Negro. Right, we got Negro land. It's West Africa, or West Africa, listed on maps as Negro land. Got the real Negro in Brazil. We got Niger. We got Nigeria. Nigeria, which just means country of black in Latin, country of blacks. But a lot of people can't be adjectives. The only people who can be so-called black is the Nigerians, really. If you translate Niger from Latin to English, that's black. So, as a noun, that'll be capitalized if he's claiming to be Nigerian. You see? But we know that place ain't been Nigeria. Like maybe all these places they got Negro, Negri, the island of the Negritos and the Malaysia. Those Malaysia mean Black Asian from the Greek. When the Christian powers took over the fall of the Moors. Go fast. Pause in the screenshot. And look at that. The Hittite. What do you say? The Hittite brethren came to lay they can. And even that being found. Or Lipso. That's a major port in so-called Portugal where the Moors and just used to bring all the stuff from America over there to come over there with all kind of stuff, right? That one of the ports, Old Lipso. Thanks, Stowe. Thank you, Stowe. Go check that on Google Maps. Yeah, modern Lisbon. Finding that connection because the story of that is known as a myth in old Spanish and Portugal history that the Moors used to bring coming on that coast on ship with American products. That's basically mythic if you're dealing with inside the United States. My whole channel is mythic if you're dealing with the United States Public Department of Education. Off the dick, all right. They gonna the only thing they gonna respect is that Holy Quran Circle said they can't deny that. They can't rebut none of that shit neither, but they just gonna say dialogue exists within that realm, which is true in that corporation that they operate in. But when you stand on You stand on constitutional principles, you operate the United States as they should be. And the federal government gotta help you with that. They got the resources and stuff. You gotta be able to use. Like I said in the last video, we're dealing with. If you had 7 Moorish American governor in the governing match of the 7 states, that's enough to enforce a whole lot of shit for you young people legally and constitutionally, and that's why they ain't gonna be able to. They ain't gonna be, you know. One thing they don't want us to talk about, because disenfranchisement is one of the main tactics used by the Klan and, this history of the United States that working now, have been working, but they ain't working under the laws of the original concepts of the shit. Some more language connections. It's Aram, Palmyra, and the Batian. It's basically the whole world, the ancient world. Different Phoenician tribes. Over time they became different tribes because the Punic. All this going to Kemet and all these people found in America in different forms all across the place. I think that's the Kemet God. I won't say which one, I say the wrong one, but start dealing with the same things. Mauritania was showing. They find so much Latin inscriptions, but what they don't realize is these ancient Phoenicians, that's who created the Latin inscriptions. The Latin languages and the Greek languages come out of these old, what I was just showing you, the old scripts, older scripts, the Moabite and stuff like that. From the Book of Islam and the American continent. Touching on a lot of these things. People look for evidence. They ask me that a lot too. We'll show them some evidence of pre-Columbian prison of Moors. But in my mind, Moors gotta be like al-Masudi, from the education we get. They marginalize it. And this right here, they say he was a young man of Cordoba who gathered a group of young men and went on a voyage on this ocean, talking about from Portugal. And after a long time, he returned with a fabulous booty, which means just cargo. Every Andalusian knows this story. It's definitely constantly happening. Some of my older videos, they talk about how they were waiting for some of these Moors to just come back to shore so they could get rid of them, so they could make the new world story and all this crazy shit. That's one of the oldest maps. Al-Masudi. They show he got it as Majula, or unknown territory. And we heard the story of Abu Bakr. They got that in there. And they just look what they say. They say he was a great canary, which we were dealing with in the older videos, Gran Canaria, remember? King Gon Ariga. So that definitely dealing with somebody from Brazil or South America somewhere. Capraria and Plutania. And they going back there and you see them, You just see all the ancient connections. King Roger of Sicily. He had an Arab by his court because they would deal with Sicily too. All these Moorish aspects. That's one of the funny. They say the chief come back speaking the Arabic language on them, boy. They going back and get a chief and come back and speak to them boy in Arabic. Really, they ain't up in America somewhere. Talk about this in an older video. It's the old map of Florida showing different versions of Mallorca, Cadiz, and Marrakesh, which people could say is scratching. It could be just coincidence. But remember, everything will be questioned when it comes to somebody who look like us, dark-skinned people in the Western Hemisphere. You remember, people gotta tell us our story. Not on our watch. Dealing with the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire has been long stretch all across the world, including America. It's 1515. Salim Khan, Salim the First. They all got the Treaty of Peace of Friendship with the United States, the Salim family, Khans, and the Treaty of Tunis, which are already dealing with the United States territories we're dealing with that right now. And where black people at right now, those seas and rivers, canals, have to come to peace. If you want to end slavery, kidnapping and shit like that, wars. Let's see, the island of Mirage. This person doing their own research and they finding some of the similar stuff that was Isabel Alvarez and them books that she, finding from her records. He found from different sources. Muslim had led the world in astronomy, mathematics, chemistry, medicine. The United States, they agree today in their history because, they put out when the Moorish rule Europe and they make those claims. But they disassociate that with you over here in these states. And they try to make you believe, we only talking about who we perceive today as Muslim or Arabs. Once they show you TV, Islam, they want you to associate everything, Hindu and Greek and Roman, they want you to associate everything that you see in English to where they tell you that those things are. But English is the most ambiguous language on the fucking face of the earth, and nothing don't really hold true to that shit. Hard to really deal with law within it. That's why law use Latin phrases a lot. It's hard to deal with absolute truth without a lawyer coming and say, well, that can be construed as, and now you got a whole controversy. The Pyramids made that map is the oldest map of the Americas and most accurate. And when they say the people who make that map, they have to have been here and been here for a while and know about this place and everything just to make that type of accuracy. And they call them Turkish and African and all that, but that place ain't always been Turkey over there, remember. You see, they were saying Pizarro and all these other people ain't visit these places, but this map already had these places on there way before these discoverers. And that's how you show dominion too. Your nation holds the oldest map of the place. Ain't even know so-called Indian tribes can show you a map. They can talk about all the oral history they want. The law need evidence. And the only people with evidence is the Moorish Americans. So they gonna keep scrambling. We gonna eat popcorn. So-called African Muslims. present day Brazil. They find a lot of evidence in Brazil, but what we know there's a lot of these West African Islamic Empire Mali people count us Brazil from the original people of Brazil, ancient Canaan and ancient Morocco and shit too. These people tested us in 1969 in a sailboat that would have been around the time periods that people would have had around these ancient times. The Ra, the first boat by Africans in 1969, crossed from Southeast North Africa to Barbados and Caribbean using power and direction of currents and trade winds. See? So they're saying basically if they could have did that, they use that example to say this had to been going on all throughout time, back and forth like this. From West Africa, you would have been going to all these places and going to the Pacific. And that's what I've been saying about Mustafa Azamor or Esteban. They say he got from Azamor, but we got Azam over here, we got Azam over here, El Jadida, and Marajo Island. And we can see the current if you get on the boat from down here, what's this New Spain and all that. And my man who wrote the story worked down here in Uruguay. So it make more sense that he would have come. If he had come from right there, he probably would have landed over here somewhere. But he landed in New Spain. You see that current? If he'd been on a sail, that current would have taken him straight to the places that his route show, the Gulf of Mexico and all that. Talking about different Morocco that the historians getting wrong. And that's my claim. We deal with the Mandinka families. And the last one, we will deal with them a little bit. The families, the Congo Moors and the Mandinka Moors and all the Moors from here already. The English colonies just had a thing with Africa and Congo and all these places. They had a thing with that. Everything that's South Africa to the English colonies been African. But a lot of them South American places got that sound, that connection. You see they find the inscriptions in Bahia and Minas Gerais. And these two places got a lot of Moorish presence. Minas Gerais got the oldest skull found in America, period. That was the Moorish woman. You know, and they say they found a lot of them, but they only telling us about Lucia. They got some in Mexico, I think older than Lucia, but Lucia was a good one too. Found in Minas Gerais. They say they found a lot of them and not being told. But they find a lot of scriptures too that deal with the Mali kingdoms that we know as Moorish, because they want to call these places Negro land and shit like that, in West Africa and shit. These people been Moorish Americans too. They've been over back and forth. And that's why our DNA is going to show what we call the Atlantis people who've been on the coast since the ancient Phoenician times of Europe, America, and Africa. And that's why they got that correlation, period. Because you know what they tell you. Yeah, you know what they tell you. Everybody rape you. All the different people in the world rape you. They gonna say that before they tell you all this stuff. They'll just say the Indians, you mix with Indians who ain't you, but you mix with them, and you mix with European so-called white people because they beat you up for no reason. They ain't say you get captured in the war and you captured other, like in war, you get captives, and they get captives. They don't make nothing like that. They just tell you you've been minding your business and you got captured. So they feel that they gotta always take care of you in the United States and act like you is the citizens based off because we did that to you. No, that's that bullshit. No, these people citizens because you know they're citizens. You playing as them with your feds on. Washington D.C., the square. That's why they got that status, not because, and you know that's the majority, and that's how Barack Obama won with the biggest margin of victory in the popular vote, because the majorities who ain't even got an understanding of what the politics is, just be like, hey, shit, that's a black man going to vote for him. We could be real. That's why I don't need Moorish Americans dealing with politics, because they know when we decide to do that, we got to move forward. That's what you mean by getting back in the affairs of men. Government. And you still can keep your titles and ability. You operate the usufruct. FBO, the usufruct. FBO, usufruct created to operate the public. You have to operate a lot of what we call immigrants, e-migrants, but already family members are under treaties with you through international treaties. We're going to get to who these people is later. These are in our bloodlines. You see some of the evidence before we get to that point, when we get to the little modern times, who is exactly these citizens of the United States. Can't stop here. Getting too long. Cut it. Come back for another part. But you can get this book. Just search for Islam in the American continent for free on archive.